Hey, what's cracking? How are you doing today? I hope this day's going your way. I hope that today you decided to start off by picking up your blessings and throwing down your curses. Hope everything is going your way. If it's not, listen to this story and maybe you think, hey man, it could be a lot worse. I could be in this crazy place because I have got the craziest prison story for you have ever heard. Before I get started, shout out to the writers and the dyers. Thank you guys for hitting that join button. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, do that for me, man. Most guys like me, they're either back in prison or headed to prison. They're the guys, when you see them pull up, you start trying to think of excuses why you can't visit, making sure your shit's put up, running the streets, dealing drugs. I ain't doing none of that. Trying to make a difference, trying to make these videos. So if you can support that, hit that subscribe or that like button for me. I really appreciate it. Hell, even hit the join button. It don't cost as much as a cup of coffee. Give you access to my videos about my book, help me write my book as we go. So today I want to start this video off talking about when I was at Hinton. I was at Hinton for 8 years, and I'll get to that in my story. Usually my stories are told chronologically. I started at the beginning with what happened, being certified, sent to prison with grown men, and I've been telling it straight through, so it's kind of like a series, and you probably enjoy it better to start at the beginning. But every now and then I throw in random stories, and that's what I'm going to do today. So I had a friend named Pat. And Pat had just come from McAllister when I was at Hinton. I was at Hinton, and Pat shows up from McAllister. And Pat was in McAllister for 12 years because he stabbed somebody and damn near killed him. And it was his second or third stabbing. So Pat is very well known that Pat is a killer. He's in prison for murder. He's never getting out. And he stabbed several people since he's been here. Damn near killed the last one. Now, a homosexual shows up on the yard. And this homosexual, I have no idea what his real name is. They called him Brandy. And that's all I ever knowed him by. Everybody knows who Brandy is because Brandy looks so much like a girl. He's slim built like a girl. He walks like a girl. He sounds like a girl, long hair like a girl. He's one way or another. He always ends up with makeup by talking female guards into bringing it to him. He sneaks it from place to place in his butt so he don't lose it. Brandy is more feminine than most women I've seen. I hate to say that, but man, he's got the walk and the talk down. He does a little runway walk like he's a girl or something. But the thing about Brandy, everybody knows who Brandy is because he's so feminine. Everybody remembers his name. But also, everyone knows who Brandy is because Brandy catches out everywhere he goes. He'll hook up with somebody, they'll try to protect him, one thing will happen or another, and he catches out. Goes and tells the police he needs protection, goes somewhere else. Same thing happens over and over and over. Tries to keep from getting hurt too bad, but he's a child molester, so people don't show him the same respect they would another homosexual that came from the streets that carried themselves in such a feminine way. But Pat, he sees this guy pull up, and Pat has been on some other yard with him before, and Pat really likes this homosexual. So Pat pulls him up, tells everybody, ain't nobody going to mess with this homosexual. Now, right now, let me tell you that if you have little ones in the room, if you're young, if you don't like foul language, it's time for you to turn this video off and watch something else. This is going to be a rough story. It's going to have rough language. So if you're not up for that, now's the time to go. Now, Pat, he goes and he gets hold of Brandy and he tells everybody, I'm going to move him in a cell with me. He's going to be under me. I'm not going to treat him good because he's a child molester and a catch out. So I'm going to fuck him and he's going to cook my food. And that's it. He ain't even allowed to talk to nobody. So so he would send this guy down, Brandy, down to the microwave to cook at night. And if you go up and try to speak to him, he'll just stand there and stare. He won't even answer anyone. He don't talk. Pat don't allow him to talk. Okay. And now there's a guy pulls up, ends up in the same day room with Pat named Heavy. I'm in the day room downstairs. So I see all this shit going on. So Heavy pulls up. Heavy's been locked up a long time too. Him and Pat been on several yards together. They just came from McAllister together. Heavy's just coming from McAllister, but he's there about 4 or 5 years instead of 12. Now, Heavy stabbed several people too. He's a Mexican guy, and all the Mexicans look up to him for the most part because he's a killer. He ain't no rat. He's a rider, gets dope in a lot. So people kind of look up to him and hold his nuts, you know. So Pat's got this homosexual, and every time he'll send Brandy to the microwave, boom, you'll see Heavy at the microwave. Keeps trying to push up on him. Pat catches on to what's going on, so him and Heavy have words. But Heavy kind of backs off. Then Pat gets a dirty UA for smoking weed, and they send him to lockup. So now that homosexual, now Brandy's up there in a cell by herself. Now, there's a lot of people on the yard want to smash Brandy because he's a homosexual, and not because he's a homosexual, because he's a child molester. And they say, I don't care if he thinks he's pretty and acts like a girl and all these faggots like him, because that's what they say. All these faggots like him. A lot of guys in prison that think if you're the one doing the pitching, not the catching, you're not gay. But then you have other guys who think they're all faggots. So in that term, I'm not saying what I think. I'm telling you how people talk in prison. So if you're offended easily, check out on this video. Don't unsubscribe. Telling you what penitentiary's like when I was in the penitentiary, not telling you what I think or feel. Okay? So a lot of people think they want to smash this faggot. Looks like a girl. He's a faggot. He's a rat. He's a child molester. We want to get him. Okay? But then Heavy, as soon as Pat's gone, he swoops in there on him. They go in there and put the curtain up, lock the door. Word makes it back to Pat that that's going on in lockup. But Pat's been back there a couple weeks and he's made run man. All right? And he sends word, that writes a little note and sends it under the door and have him take it to Heavy, tell him to stay away from that homosexual. Going to kill him when he gets out. So now Heavy's walking around carrying an ice pick. Word is these two are going to fall out when they get out of lockup. They're going to knife fight over this homosexual. This dude is a rat and a child molester. But they're going to knife fight over him because he's such a girly homosexual. Okay, so one thing leads to another, and Heavy gets caught with the ice pick. So they send him to lockup, and that's right where Pat is. Now, Pat's made run man. And when you're in lockup, you can't have no shoes or nothing. You just got your boxers and a pair of flip-flops to wear to the shower. You got to have a pair of flip-flops in the shower because if not, everyone will have foot fungus. You always have to wear shower shoes in the shower. You're crazy if you go in there barefooted. You'll have all kinds of problems with your feet. Okay, so Heavy, all he's got is flip-flops, but he's managed to make another ice pick some way and get it back there through one of his buddies. So he's got a little ice pick. Pat, he's out on the run. He's the run man. So every meal, he's the one that comes around. They open the bean hose up. They stay locked the rest of the time, but the guards will walk around, open the bean hose. When they do that, Pat will come around, slide your food through the bean hole. Then he'll come back by with a pitcher. You stick your cup out, he'll fill it up. So Pat's out on the run. Because he passes out the food, they let him have his shoes out of property. And Pat wears these big combat boots. So he's got those on. So Heavy, he's decided they're going to get into it anyhow. He's going to try to get Pat before Pat has anything. Because Pat, he thinks he ain't got a weapon because they're in lockup. But he's managed to get him a little piece of wire about that long, sharpen the end up, turn it into an ice pick. So what he does is when he goes to the shower, he takes some paper and jams it in the lock. So the door looks locked, but he can push it back open. And he waits till Pat comes around with that pitcher, shoves that door open, comes out there trying to stab Pat. Problem is, Pat drops the pitcher he's carrying. All the tea goes on the floor. Heavy slips in it and hits his head on the edge of the bean hole that's open, and it damn near knocks him out. And as soon as that happened, Pat's on him with those combat boots, stomps him in the head. Heavy dies. He dies. Killed him right out there on the top run in lockup. It's supposed to be impossible for that to happen. It is the most secure area in any prison. Should not have been possible for that to happen. So the guard that Heavy was able to jam the door on, stick that paper in there, that shouldn't have happened. The guard should have checked that. He shouldn't have been able to do that. That guard lost their job. Heavy dies. Pat, usually when you're in lockup and they're going to send you to McAllister or something, you're there 2 weeks, a month, 2 months in lockup waiting to go. They come and got Pat that night and take him to McAllister. But now Brandy is by herself, for real, his self, whatever you want to call it. He's up there in that cell now by himself. Everyone knows that Heavy has got killed. And Pat's gone to McAllister. They've done got rid of him. Whole yard is locked down because of this. They come around, we're locked down 3 days, bringing us sack lunches to our cell. So for now, Brandy's locked down cell by herself. He's all right. But as soon as we got off lockdown, a dude that has AIDS, everyone knows he has AIDS. He likes boys, but he don't mess with nobody because he has AIDS. Goes straight up in the cell, takes that homosexual hostage from 8 in the morning after count, so about 8:30, to the next count at 12:20, almost 4 hours, and raped him twice. And that homosexual goes straight and tells the police. They take him straight to protection. And the guy that raped him was a black dude. They take him and send him straight to McAllister. And we're locked down 3 more days over that. So if you've heard of some crazier shit than that, be my guest and tell me. I'd like to hear your story. And that's only a 10-minute video. I'm going to stop it right there. Don't know if I can tell you anything wilder than that. In the meantime, I hope that I catch you in the next video. I hope that you've hit the subscribe button. Hope that you've hit the like button so YouTube will share it. With that, may God bless, keep, and protect you and yours. Peace out.